Chiefs Kingdom, Merry Christmas, and welcome into a brand new episode of the Chiefs Report by Chat Sports. My name is Jackson Durham, and today we are going to break down the Chiefs' 20-13 loss to the Broncos on Thursday Night Football, Christmas Day Thursday Night Football in Week 17, sending them to 6-10 on the 2025 NFL season. We're going to talk takeaways from this one. Obviously, not a ton of prescient takeaways in terms of things going on for this season, just no meaningful football left for this football team. But I think there were some takeaways as far as young guys who stood out in this one, guys who will be potentially around next year or won't potentially be around next year, that made some plays, stood out today that I do want to discuss, I want to give props to. And I just want to talk about the way this team performed in the absence of so many guys. And then the back half of this video, I want to talk about Travis Kelce, whether or not this was his last game at Arrowhead Stadium, and we'll round out with some discussion of the Chiefs' draft position. Obviously, this loss helping the draft position, moving us up a little bit, and we'll talk about where the Chiefs can kind of cap out in the draft order and the things we need to have happen to make all of that happen. But let's get into it. As I mentioned, my name is Jackson Durham. You're watching the Chiefs Report by Chat Sports. And let's start just with the injury report coming into this game. Because I know not everybody is watching injury news right now. And hey, I can't blame you guys. I cannot blame you for checking out on the injury news front at this point in the Chiefs season. But obviously no Patrick Mahomes, but no Gardner Minshew, no Jawan Taylor, no Jalen Moore, no Josh Simmons, no Rashee Rice, no Tyquan Thornton, no Nico Remigio, no Trent McDuffie, no Jalen Watson, no Chris Roland Wallace, and no Derek Nottie. 10 starters out of this one. And a number of other backups that I didn't even name. That wasn't even the full list of guys, just the starters. All of those guys missing this game. And yet, you would have never known it. I mean, this team showed up. Damn it, they did. I know it's a meaningless football game. I know it is. I know a lot of you probably watching this wished they didn't show up that well, hoping that they lost for draft positioning reasons, which, look, I understand. But wasn't it great to see that team fight? Wasn't it great to see that team show up just for the chance to spoil a divisional rival? Spoil their season a little bit. Screw up the Broncos. Try to trip them up. At least give them a fight. And we absolutely did. No one can say that we did not do that. We absolutely did. We took them wire to wire. 100% we did. And that's something to be proud of. That's a damn good football team. They're 13-3. They might win the AFC. If they win out, they win the entire AFC this year. They're one of the best teams in football. We just went wire to wire with them, with 10-plus starters out. That is something to be proud of. And offensively, was it a blow-you-away performance? No, of course not. We're missing so many guys. I just gave you that list of guys that were out, obviously. But it was the type of game plan that was going to keep you in this thing. It was exactly what you needed to do with Chris Oladokun under center, who, by the way, especially on that final drive, man, he showed up in this one. He made some plays. He did. I mean, the stat line is not great. None of the stats from tonight are really that great. But if you watched, you can't box score watch this game, but if you really did watch it, you know this Chiefs team, especially on defense, and we're going to talk about the defense in just a minute, but they showed up and they fought. They battled. Only attempted 22 passes in this game. Again, an extremely conservative offensive game plan that was just designed to keep you in this thing. Being short and safe until that final drive. That's why statistically it's not impressive. But it was a plan that was designed to just keep you in this thing. To drag the Broncos out into deep water. Make them play in another close game. And that's exactly what we did. We gave ourselves a chance. Ultimately, didn't happen. But you gave yourself a chance. And largely, obviously, the offensive game plan was solid, but none of that would have mattered if your defense didn't show up and play their asses off, because they did, especially the secondary. Man, I mean, go back to that list of guys that was missing. Trent McDuffie, Jalen Watson, Chris Roland Wallace. That's 3 of our starting corners out of this game. Kristian Fulton and Nohl Williams come in and just absolutely battle, man. Those guys battled. they battled their asses off, especially Nohl. There were two screenplays where he just reads it like a book. Man, he knew so much film study. You can see it paying off for Nohl. I cannot wait to watch that man develop into a phenomenal player over the next few years of his career because he's so young. But boy, did we get a steal in the corner out of Cal. Because I'm telling you guys, over the next few years, he's just got every trait you want in a winning corner. And he is going to do some fun things in this league. He really, really is. He did tonight. He did. Blowing up screenplays. Good coverage downfield. Just good game from him. Kristian Fulton. He had two plays from him that were not so great. One play where he did not do what I just gave a ton of compliments to Nohl for doing, which was had a responsibility to make a play on a screen, just gets totally driven backwards. And then he got beat by Courtland Sutton on a fade route. But outside of that, it was a good night for him. He battled hard too. Again, just asked to step into a role, play that role that Trent McDuffie plays on this defense, tracking the number one. And he did that with a really good number one in Courtland Sutton. And I feel like he played well. And those two guys, I need you to think about the fact that how little run have they seen all year long? And I know Jalen Watson's been good, but Shamari Connor has struggled in the slot. Chris Roland Wallace has not been a world beater. I would have rather seen, if that's how Kristian Fulton could have played all year long, why was he not playing? If that's how Noel Williams could have played all year long, why is he not playing more? Why did we not see more of these guys earlier in the year? When the hell of an effort they put on tonight could have mattered in a meaningful football game. Because at the end of the day, as good as the effort was tonight, from the defense especially, which kept us in this game, Chris Jones also made some really good plays. He had a brutal penalty at the end of this one. That offsides was back-breaker. But we didn't play guys who I feel like could have been impact makers nearly enough this season. Those guys didn't see enough run. Noel Williams, Kristian Fulton, those guys are fantastic players. They're extremely high-quality players. And when I think of high-quality players, I think of today's sponsor, who is the most high-quality in the meat industry. And you guys know exactly who I'm talking about. It's Omaha Steaks, baby. It is Christmas Day, by the way. The day I'm filming this, it's 11 o'clock on Christmas night. And it was an Omaha Steaks Christmas in the Durham household, gang. I got to tell you, it absolutely was. The whole family got at least one gift because there's so much variety from these guys. They offer not just the steaks, which obviously is the namesake of the company, but the burgers are fantastic. The hot dogs and the juicy franks are also fantastic. And I gave every single member of the family at least something from them. Dad got some steaks, Mom got some burgers, and Riley got the juicy franks because it's unrivaled quality, it's unrivaled variety, and every bite is backed by their 100% guarantee. Right now is the perfect time to save on delicious gifts and holiday hosting favorites. Every steak is perfectly aged to maximize tenderness and hand-cut by master butchers in America's heartland. And like I said, great time to save on this stuff because I've got an exclusive deal just for Chiefs Report viewers. The Kingdom is going to get an extra $35 off with promo code Chiefs at checkout. So save big on unforgettable gifts with Omaha Steaks. Visit omahasteaks.com for 50% off site-wide and an extra 20% off select favorites during their Sizzle All the Way sale. And for an extra $35 off, use promo code Chiefs at checkout. That's omahasteaks.com, promo code Chiefs at checkout. Terms to apply. See site for details. The link is in the description and the pinned comment. As always, if you guys want to go check out Omaha Steaks, please use promo code Chiefs because it really supports the channel and it lets you save $35, which who doesn't want to save $35 on the delicious steaks? But let's get back into our takeaways from this game. Chris Jones, talked about him. He made some big plays in this one. But that back-breaking offsides penalty that I just mentioned, that's a huge reason why we lost this game. It really is. That gave Denver an opportunity to get in the end zone. I'm watching this one and I'm like, look, if we can keep him out of the end zone, we can give Oladokun a chance. You just don't have, unfortunately, you don't have faith in Oladokun to drive the length of the field and get a touchdown in that situation, which ultimately we weren't able to do. But what he was able to do was get us in field goal range. We were. We could have kicked a field goal there, but we couldn't keep them out of the end zone. And that largely comes down to Chris Jones in a critical situation, committing that offsides penalty. Absolute killer there. But again, Chris, like I just said, he made some big plays in this game. He had, that third down, Bo Nix drops back, and he just, you guys know what I'm talking about. He gets the sack on this play. I feel like Chris decided before that snap, I am taking Bo Nix to the dirt on this play. I am getting a sack no matter what. Like, I think you could have thrown any offensive lineman in the NFL against Chris Jones on that play, and it would not have mattered. Mike McGlinchey got tossed aside like a rag doll, and he went and made that play. So, up and down game from Chris Jones, who's had a overall really good season. And another guy who has had, I would say, overall a good season, but some up and down moments this year. But tonight was definitely an up moment for Travis Kelce. And obviously, he's kind of the man of the night. Is this it? I don't know. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I don't know if that was it for Travis Kelce at Arrowhead Stadium. I sure hope not. I sure hope that he doesn't go out on a loss. Too good of a career to finish on a loss at home. But if he does, if that truly was it for Travis Kelce at Arrowhead Stadium, nobody can say he went out washed. Nobody can say it. That effort on that final drive was vintage Travis Kelce. I mean, who can watch that final drive and tell me that guy can't play another season? Can you? Are you going to go in the comments and tell me Travis Kelce's washed right now? He shouldn't play another year. We don't want him back. That guy on that final drive who showed so much chemistry with a quarterback he's barely played with all season, who helped a guy out of South Dakota State who was on the practice squad a couple weeks ago almost lead a game-winning drive? You're going to tell me you don't want that guy back? Hall of Famer, one of the best players in the franchise history? I'd take him back any day that ends in Y. I would take him back any day that ends in Y. Only 5 receptions for 36 yards tonight, but damn it, every single one of them was critical. Every single one of them. 40% of Chris Oladokun's completions to Travis Kelce. Caught 5 of his 6 targets. Ultimately, despite a hell of an effort from a lot of guys on this team in a meaningless football game where it would have been really easy to roll over and die to the AFC's current 1 seed, would have been really easy to roll over, lose this game by 20. That didn't happen. They showed up. They played with pride. Nobody can say they did not. But it was too difficult to overcome that late penalty and the offense just not consistently getting going in this game. You know, I gave a ton of credence to the effort of Travis Kelce, but it's hard when you finish with 66 passing yards in a game. It really is. It's going to be hard to win. Let's talk Chiefs draft position after this one, because ultimately, that's pretty much all there is for takeaways. I could beat this team for a loss. I'm not going to do it. 10 guys. I'm going to applaud their effort. Could we go into some difficulties that they had? Yeah, absolutely. But at the end of the day, half your team is on injured reserve. This is a meaningless football game, but you wouldn't have known it from the effort tonight. And that's what matters to me at the end of the day. You showed up and you played your ass off. And that's, I think, all you can ask for from guys who would not be starting. A lot of the guys right now would not be starting. They kept it very, very, very close. Critical penalty, unfortunately, comes from one of your leaders. And that's, I think, the most brutal thing. That's the one that sticks with you, is the critical penalty coming from Chris Jones. I would have much rather seen that come from Jeff Bassa or one of our rookies, Ashton Gelati, maybe jumping off sides. Would have been a little bit easier to live with. But it's tough that comes from Chris Jones. But it ultimately helps our draft position. If you are one of the people out there, and look, let me be clear before we get into this discussion, I am not one of these people. I don't want to see the Chiefs lose football games. I don't know if it's already not clear from the way I've talked tonight, but that hurt. Even still as a meaningless loss, I don't like to see them lose. I especially don't like to see them lose to the fucking Broncos. I hate that team. We all hate that team. No one wants to see that happen, especially not on Christmas. But look, end of the day, if we're gonna lose, we might as well root for some other teams to lose so that our draft pick can get better. Because it's about the only good thing that comes of losing. So let's talk about it. 10th draft spot right now. After this loss, we are sitting in the 10th overall pick spot. Here are the 3 games that matter right now for us in week 17 if you want to see that pick get higher. And granted, that pick's going to cap out at 9th this week. But to get to 9th, you need a win from the Bengals over the Cardinals. You need a win from the New Orleans Saints over the Tennessee Titans. And you need a win from the Atlanta Falcons over the Los Angeles Rams. First 2 games, Bengals and Saints, who we're cheering for, they play at noon on Sunday for your viewing pleasure. And the Falcons will play on Monday Night Football against the Rams. So, those 3 outcomes go our way. We're sitting 9th. Not bad. Important to note, though, even if all those results go your way and you get some more help next week, you're going to cap out at 8th. 8th is as good as it gets as far as the Chiefs draft pick goes. You can't get ahead of Washington. You would have needed them to win today against Dallas for that to be a possibility for you to get as high as 7th. That isn't going to happen. Let me double check and make sure. Yes, there is no way for us to get any higher than 7th. I just double checked. The last team that we can leapfrog is the New Orleans Saints, and then we would be sitting at 8th if we did that. Just double checking to be 100% sure I'm not giving you guys bad info there. But yes, so we're going to cap out at 8th if we get ahead of New Orleans. Right now we're sitting 10th, so there's really not a ton of room to go. And that is a big part of the reason why at the end of the day, I mean, of course you want to pick 8th over picking 10th, but I'm not going to root for the Chiefs to lose to see our pick go up 2 spots at the end of the day. We're still going to have to get a lot of unlikely results. Does anybody feel like the Falcons are beating the Rams on Monday Night Football? I don't feel that way. I don't think that's very likely. Like, Saints over Titans definitely feels likely. Bengals over Cardinals, yeah, I could see it. But Falcons over Rams would be a bit of an upset. So unless that goes our way, then maybe I'm changing my mind a little bit in Week 18. But I can't root for this team to lose to the Raiders. That Raiders team is horrible. And they're going to be really trying hard to lose because they need the first overall pick. So, look, at the end of the day, it's not tank season. It's finish the season with your head held high season for the Kansas City Chiefs. Which, again, it goes back to the points that I made over and over again today. This team played with pride today. As a Chiefs fan, I feel like you can have pride today. I have a lot of pride today in the way this team performed. I do. Let me know in the comments how you feel about it. I want you guys to grade the Kansas City Chiefs performance if you made it to this point in the video. And comment real one for me as well. Always appreciate you guys spending your time with us, especially on a day like Christmas, or if you're watching this tomorrow morning on Friday, the day after your Christmas, as you maybe clean up from the family party, tidy the house up a little bit. Maybe I'm your entertainment while you do that. Always appreciate you spending your time with us. Let's go Kansas City Chiefs. We will see you guys more later this week, especially once I'm back in the office in Dallas for some more Chiefs content, get into some more draft stuff as the season winds down. But I'm looking forward to it, and let's go Kansas City Chiefs.